Okay, so we're onto the middle now. I have done the side pockets and the middle pocket. I wanted one big middle pocket on one side. I'm just going to show you how to do the divided pocket on the other. They're done exactly the same as the outside pockets I've done, so I didn't think there was any point redoing them. It's a long video anyway. Right, so this time you want to make sure you've got some elastic coming out on each side. I've folded this piece to find the middle, so I'm going to line up with my 2 marks there, and then with my chalk pen I'm going to go up the middle. So we're going to stitch the amount it says, distance it says in the pattern either side of that line. I'm just going to put a couple of clips there just so it doesn't move in the meantime. Remember to backstitch well at the start, at the top, because it's quite a high stress area within a bag. So now, just like we did before, clip there and there. And then here, and again, just going to put in our pleats. Just making sure the bottom is nice and straight. Stitch the bottom down. Just like the other time, stitch. So pull this however you want it. go, and that's your divided pocket. And just cut off the excess. See, we're not cutting a strip first, so it means that you get a better, you don't get as much wastage. That might be all right for one of my dolly's clothes. Right, so that is now all your lining panels done. I am going to leave out the inside pocket because there is more than enough pockets. Right, so now we're going to need our base. Right. Oh, I don't need to find the middle of this one. So we're going to do our middles. I do need to invest in some more scissors. I'll get mine sharpened. Right. And then just like we did before, we are now going to attach, make sure I've got, almost put the pocket on upside down. Stop, check that your pocket, you're going to the bottom and not the top. I almost went to the top. Again, check in, it's me bottom to me bottom. I don't want to be topsy-turvy, and then I won't be able to get in my pockets. Stitch, top stitch, now comes the pinning together for the inside. Let's start with the two V's at the bottom. Go around. I do the top. I'm going to fold it over once I get to the bit so that it matches my exterior. It's a little bit bulky there because all the pockets meet at the same point if you've done your measurements right. Oh no, the side ones will be slightly different, won't they, because you've taken some of it out with the seam allowance. So I always put a couple at the bottom, at the middle, and then work round from the top, because then you know how much you've got to play with, because there's nothing worse than starting there, coming all the way around, and you're like this much short at the top, and you've got one pin it again. It's all about easing the fabric in. Somewhere along the line I've messed up. Maybe I took too small or too big a seam allowance at some point. Right, back to construction length. No, I lost some of the seam allowance around here, so right. Let's check. Look at that. That looks so good. Oh, look. Doesn't that look good? I love me some green. My favourite colours when I was growing up was blue, then it was green, this sort of green, and then it was purple. Now it's purple, but I still love those colours as well. just make sure no, it doesn't stick out anywhere, so that's always an added bonus. Now where are my sharp scissors? Right, now I'm just going to cut down the seam allowance. Make sure I don't cut the fabric because that really would make me cry. I'm going to leave where the elastic is. I know some people don't like bigger seam allowances to then cut down, but it's much easier to handle when you've only got like a very small quarter of an inch seam allowance or something. It's really hard to get all the bits to line up, especially when you've got lots of thickness and things. So a bigger seam allowance in that respect really helps. Right, there's my zips again. Zips. Not zips. If you are putting an inside zipper pocket in, you do it just the same as you did the back zip pocket and the front pocket. I misread the instructions and I put 2 layers of interfacing on my slip pockets, so they're quite stiff. There we go. Let's nail that. So, yes, how exciting. Okay, so I've stood up now because it's just too big. So, decide I want that one on the back. So I'm going to place this inside, and first of all I'm going to match up the seams. Right, now then. And this is just slightly different from the pattern. I just like to make sure that it all fits. This is a sort of drop-in lining, which is where it's really good if you're using a thicker fabric, because you don't need to turn it inside out once you're done. Does that sit nicely in there? Yeah, I probably pulled the what I've probably done, so you don't necessarily make, I've pulled the elastic too tight. That looks like it's not too saggy a lining. So now I'm going to take back out the lining. I'm going to add the zip. We're on the homeward stretch. We need our longer top zipper. We need to add our zipper pulls. I would still love a zipper jig, but you know, it seems a bit pointless now, she says, as she can't get the zip on. This will be why I normally do it off camera, because I can guarantee one time I try and do it on camera, it all goes pear-shaped. Let's put this one on. Right, let's just even up the ends. And just burn the ends. Right, now you're going to get your zipper tabs. Now, what you want to do is take it, you fold it in half this way so that you can get, so you fold it like bias tape. So you start off, fold with it down the centre to then make those two, open it up, and then you take these two to the centre and then you fold it in like so. So then you can then pop your zip in and pop your clip on. And as you can see, that's a nice snug fit. Do the same on the other side. You can use zipper ends. You can buy some nice ones. I still haven't quite got the hang of using those. And if you're using cork or vinyl, when you've actually sewn these, you could just edge coat them, so you don't need to make so much bulk. I'm just going to stitch those on. Those off. Do the same this end. Oh, my needles come on thread. Did. I've just done with them. That'll be why you should put them back when you've used them. It's got a bit moved over, that's why it wasn't very happy stitching. Try that bit again. Right, so now, right, you want to find the middle, the centre of your middle panel. So pop your two sides together and make a mark. Right. Now you want to grab your ruler. You want to grab your ruler and you want to mark find your centre mark, and then you want to measure the distance. It says each side. I'm going to move you up a bit because we got a bit big now. Right, so you've got your centre mark and then you mark each side of that. Again, on this side. Right. You should still have your centre marks from when you did your centres. Just mark your, I am using my air erasable pen. Right, now you want to take your zipper, open it up, right, so we're going to start with the centres and we're going to pop them on. Now on my zipper tape I've got like a zigzaggy bit, so I'm just going to line the top of that with the top of my bag. Oh, my zip's got twisted. Right. Oh, sorry. Right, see if that's a better height. Right, so I want to go around and put, I'm making sure the corners are either side. It just helps reduce the bulk. Clip to the edge. Again, just spreading the corners. And the same on this side. Line up your centre panel pieces. Again, fold out the corners. and clip to mark. Again, fold the corners out so that they spread the bulk. Right, so that is now your top. Now we're going to machine that on. Just making sure that I'm following the line. Right, so just making sure that I follow that line on my zip. Then I'm back stitching once I get to there. Now I'm going to come round and start on the other side. Making sure to line up as best I can as I go. Start and stop, back stitch. Coming back up to that spot again. the zip. It's done. On the outside, you've put the zip in. Well done. Right, so now we've got to put the lining inside. So make sure you move the back pocket to the back. And I think I'm going to have that one at the back. And then you pop it in. Now we should, from when we did it earlier and made sure that it all fitted in, now we want to line the corners up, and our lining needs to line up with our stitching. So first of all, I'm going to do my corners. Let's do the side, and then the other side, making sure that you butt the corners together and you put the you've got the line of the stitching from the last one. The end of the day. I should call it quits, but I can't. I'm so close. Right, now the middles. Oops, come undone. Right. I'm just going to see. I'm going to do something that's not in the pattern, but as you can see, I've ended up making mine too, my elastic, I pulled my elastic too tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the lining sides to my interior, just to give them a bit of stability. So hopefully I've got this right. Good. Good job I didn't cut my seams down too much, isn't it? No, that won't get you there. So go down from the top. To that one. Good job I didn't cut the seam allowances down too much. Now let's try. As I said, I've got no idea whether this will even work, so I could be unpicking it. Oh yes, that's so much better, look. That's so much easier to look into. So now we will line these all up. Oh yes, that's much better finish, much happier. Again, sides, making sure you match up to where you stitched before. So now we're just putting these on, making sure to line up. Oh yeah, it's much better inside. Oh no, I like that. Right, now this is the time consuming bit, but it's worth it. Bring you back down. Right. Again, glue or tape, but I prefer glue. Now, starting on one side, run a little bit of glue up to where the stitching is, and then replace the clips up to where I will put a silver clip, so I know where I started the glue. This just means then when you go to top stitch, you haven't got to worry about your clips shifting, moving. Because it will be glued there. So this is the bit where your zip comes out. So you just want to take your time. because I've used white thread and it's black zip, it means I can quite easily see. My zipper stitching. See it? And some glue along. Right, so now we'll let the glue dry and then we can top stitch. Right, now you're going to want to stitch round the top of the bag. And there you have the inside all caught. How amazing is that? Right, now we want to make the channel for the, see, I've made a mistake and I've made these too tight inside. far too tight. So when you do it, you want to make sure that they're not as tight, because otherwise you end up with a funny shaped bag. Although it looks like he's got a face. He really does look like he's got a face. Hello, how are you? I'm a bag talking face. Yeah, okay. Never mind, Claire. Right, now we want to make the channel for the frame. Now, I do this slightly different. Around the bag again. So this will form the casing for the wire. This is a air removable eraser. Just remember to use that and not a biro or something, otherwise you'll have added a design feature to your bag that might make you cry. Right, so now you're going to want to stitch around the whole thing again. Right, so we've sewn our channel and now we need to get our seam ripper, and we are just going to pick out a couple of stitches along here. I have already done it, so you want to make sure if you've got a corner that feels particularly bulky, go in that corner, because when you then go to thread your wires through, I made these ones. If you've gone into the corner that you've got really thick, just makes it easier to poke your seam through. I also found a slightly wider channel, made it a little bit easier. You don't want it too thin, because otherwise if it's too thin you've got the bend, so it makes it really hard to feed it round. So I've already done the other side. What I'm going to do is, if I've got any left, pop a little bit of fray check just on there. That was really bulky and I actually ripped the fabric slightly there, but you can see on this side where I've really carefully unpicked it, you can't see it at all. Put a little bit of fray check in there, but it'll be fine because you've got the stitches here and here which will stop the seam from running. So then what you want to do is zip it up, and then you want to smush your wires so you get them, so you get the nice bend. I did finish making this last night apart from these final steps, and I really didn't like the way my elastic pockets were bringing the bag in so much, so I have actually cut the elastic. I'll work out what I'll do with my big pockets later. So that is something to be aware of. Don't make your elastic too tight, otherwise it brings, as you saw, it brings the whole bag in and makes it quite a funny shape. Okay, so now we've done all this, we're down to the finishing touches now, which is putting the handles on. Now, as you know, I made these in when we were doing the bag, but I think they're too thick. They're not, my machine's not going to go through the layers, and having looked at the finished bag, I'm going to use the black webbing because I think that'll actually look really nice on here with all the black and the gold, and then it will match with the rose gold, sorry, and then it will match with the black strap there. So I've cut them to the length of my straps. I'm going to melt the ends, and then I'm going to poke them in and turn them. Just going to eyeball. And then the same on the other side. I'm not going to put rivets through these. I will take it to the machine and I will machine stitch a square in black on these, same size. So that's those, and then we're going to add our backpack strap. So you slide your slider on through, and then you want to come to this one. You want to go in forwards, come out backwards, because what you want to do is make sure you get your zip, your clip through the back. So that's all those. We'll just take them to the machine and I will sew the square on just like you've seen me do, and then that's the finished bag. I love it.